I would like to address Black Lives Matter. The whole slogan Black Lives Matter, to any critically thinking black man and black woman, really is an embarrassment, because we have taken a position of being lesser in the eyes of the world to go out and hold up a sign pleading for the world to recognize us as a people, that our lives matter. To me, this is the ultimate act of acquiescence to the narrative of heathen nations that have effectively hid our identity and put us in a position to where we see ourselves as this, and that we have to plead with other people for our lives, for our identity, for them to recognize that we are fully human. Have we completely lost sight of the fact that we were created, or we existed in the mind of God before He even laid the foundation of the world? The prophet Jeremiah understood how he existed, what his identity was, when he wrote in Jeremiah 1:4-5. He said, "Then the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. Before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee and ordained thee a prophet unto the nations." Jeremiah was a black man of the tribe of Benjamin. And if we as a people are in doubt as to what our identity is, all we have to do is go to the book. Deuteronomy 28th chapter, the 68th verse says this: "And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. By the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies as bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall redeem you." If you really look at this and understand just a hint of history, you will find that this does not apply to any other people on the face of the planet other than us, the descendants of the African diaspora. And the fact that there has been an ongoing conspiracy for the past 2 millennia or so to keep our identity hid, to malign our character in the sight of the world. David wrote in Psalms 83, verses 3 and 4, "They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, Come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel shall be no more in remembrance." This has been the whole thing that's been against us. Because of our identity, we are the people that the Father chose to be the priesthood to the world, to teach them who He is and how to worship Him, and give them the code of conduct that He gave us as a nation as to how to live. Now, God is speaking to His people in Revelations 2:9, because there has been a nation of people that have convinced the entire world that they are us, that they are the true people of Scripture, when there's no evidence of that anywhere. And the Father Himself is speaking in Revelations chapter 2, verse 9. And He's addressing His people Israel. He says, "I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. And I know the blasphemy of them that say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan." The very next chapter, Revelations 3, same verse, verse 9. "Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. I will make them come and worship before thy feet, and to know that I have loved thee. Our lives matter. Our lives mattered in the mind of the Creator before He even brought us forth. Listen. The Father proclaimed in several places in Scripture. I'm going to just give you a few as to where He says He is the God of Israel. In Luke chapter 1, verse 68. Joel chapter 2, verse 27. Exodus 29:45. Leviticus 26:45. Ezekiel 14:11. 2 Corinthians 6:16. Jeremiah 32:38. God created all mankind. This is true. In His image and in His likeness. But He chose one particular people out of mankind to be a peculiar thing, a peculiar people, and a particular thing unto Him. Hosea 4:6 says this. And we as a people need to understand. We need to really listen to this. Hosea 4:6. God is stating, my people. He has a specific people. He says, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Why? Because thou hast rejected knowledge. I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me. Seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God, I will also forget thy children. This was our ordination. This is what we were pulled and set apart and sanctified. The word sanctify means to make holy. He says you are to be a holy nation unto me. He says because we have rejected knowledge and rejected His law, we are rejected by Him from being His priest. As long as we continue to put ourselves in this position, we can no longer be in that place that He predestined us as a people for. Now, the world, because of this conspiracy, thinks that God has thrown us off, that we are no longer His, that we have been abandoned. But the Word doesn't say that. In 1 Samuel, the 12th chapter, the 22nd verse, for the Lord will not abandon His people on account of His great name, because the Lord has been pleased to make you a people for Himself. Reference scriptures to let us know this is true. Romans 11 verses 1 and 2. Psalms 94:14. Leviticus 26:11. Psalms 38 or 37:28. We don't have to hold up signs. We don't have to plead with the world to recognize and to save our lives. We have to return to the covenant, to the position that God put us in the first place. When He told Moses to go down to Pharaoh, He says, you say unto Pharaoh that Israel is my firstborn. We don't have to acquiesce to the narrative of this world. In 2 Chronicles 7:14 it states this. If my people who are called by my name shall, number one, humble themselves, pray, and seek my face, and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven and forgive all their sins and heal their land. We need to take our position. We need to understand our identity, our true identity, and our history. Because once we do that, once we have our identity intact, then we will understand our purpose and our position. That's all I got to say. I'm just saying.